The problem for the powers that be is that they've seen an anti-war movement that worries them, because today you have both on the right-wing side and the left-wing side potential for huge anti-war movement. So they need to split those two. They can't have people come together despite left and right-wing, right? So one of the things they can use to pacifize, to ruin, for the right wing is the fear of refugees, because the right wings are much more concerned about that than the left wing. And there was this meme that, the terrorists are coming among the refugees. And I thought that was weird, because Al-Qaeda, Daesh, all these people have so much money, passports, you name it. They can send 100 expert terrorists to any country in the world with the ordinary plane, just going to the airport today, if they wanted to. So I don't see why they would need to. Plus, many of them are imported already. And if you see, like in England, they took the passports of English people who went and joined terrorists in Libya, and then the intelligence gave them back to them when the Syria thing happened, because they needed them to get to Syria. So you have, they're even facilitated by the intelligence, and we'll get to that in part 2 after the break. We're going to get more into the structures behind. But so I've always been critical to the claim that all these refugees, because if I lived in any Syrian city or any city in the world, and there were like these hellish hounds coming here, they're going to butcher, they're going to rape and kill my wife, they're going to sell my daughters into slavery, they're going to cook and eat my son, they're going to crucify me, put my head on a spike, they're going to demolish entire society. Obviously, I'll either fight or I'll flee. Okay? So, obviously, many refugees were generated by this. So what do you say? Sorry for going on like this, but I just needed to get it out.
No. I think what you say is probably accurate. I'm not going to have a strong opinion on. I think you are right, but I also know that I spoke to Faris Shahabi, who is an independent parliamentarian from Aleppo.
Yeah.
And he said that there are lots of people going to Europe who are terrorists, and that they know who they are, but Western intelligence don't want to cooperate with them. They know all about their families, the money, everything.
Why would you mean Western intelligence does want to cooperate with Syrian intelligence?
They don't want to cooperate with Syrian officials. No. So of course the big guns, the buses, they have money. For example, when Eastern Ghouta was being liberated, they bargained with the terrorists. For example, in Eastern Aleppo, I don't know if you know about the green buses. They bargained. So,
tell us about that.
Yeah, Syria from day one of the crisis, an amnesty program. So whenever an area becomes liberated, they have the option, the people there. They can either lay down their arms and they get full amnesty and they can go back to society. Or if they don't want to do that, they get to keep their arms, the light arms, not the big tanks and everything, but their own personal arms. And they can go to Idlib, which is like the last hub with terrorists. Okay.
Why would they do that?
And that's very intelligent. It's just, what are they going to do? If they are going to chase down and kill every terrorist, it's the body count of civilians will be very high. The sacrifice will be too high. They do this to protect civilians. And also to give people the chance to, to come back to society. Yeah. Syria is going to live on. You have to think about the future,
Yeah.
See, this is in direct opposition to what the Americans do, like they did in Raqqa. They just bombed everything, destroyed everything, make it inhabitable. So they can place the people they want there. It's a sort of occupation.
Yeah.
So leaving Aleppo, there were all these green buses, and rumors have it, I haven't seen it confirmed, but I'm quite certain, because they did find, foreign people, and their UN ambassador named them in the meeting in the UN, Israelis, Saudis, different sort of nationalities. And certainly there were a lot of them going out, and this was a bargain thing. There's a lot of bargaining going on behind the scene. And the Syrian government is doing this to protect civilians, because look, they could have bombed Eastern Aleppo to hell and killed all of the terrorists, but didn't. So they have the same program going all over. Now I forgot your initial question, why I asked about that. But yeah, the terrorists going to Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, so before these things happen, you know, in Eastern Ghouta, which was liberated not long ago, I mean, a couple of months ago, they found huge networks of tunnels. And I'm not talking about the little tunnels where you have to crawl, tunnels where you can drive huge trucks.
Okay.
You know, super professional. You can't imagine how modern it was.
Underground facilities, I see, yeah.
Underground with field hospitals,
Wow.
everything you can imagine. And who delivered the cement for all this? Yeah,
Turkey.
it's Lafarge. Lafarge is a French cement company. And there's actually a Norwegian who's in detention in France for terrorist money, transport, different sort of accusations.
Okay.
So the big guns who were in Eastern Ghouta, they probably before, but the ones who were staying, who did not want to take the amnesty, who said they wanted to go to Idlib, one of their conditions was they wanted to bring $900 million in cash with them. Where did that money come from? They have so much money. So what you said about the Daesh people having money and just buying passports and coming to Europe is...
intelligence contacts. They can get passports, anything, yeah.
Everything, yeah. They have been working. Who are their bosses? What is Daesh? What is it?
We'll get to that,
So
Kari, but...
No, the point is that what you said is most certainly accurate, that some of them, the big chiefs of terrorist organization, are so connected and so well funded, they can travel freely all over the world.
But I imagine if there's terrorists among the refugee wave, that must be terrorists who just decided, fuck it, I'm going home, or I'm finding a better life for myself. I don't want to fight here. You see what I mean?
Yes.
There may be terrorists, but they're not there to. They're not in operation. Because if they were in operation, they could come in a first class plane to wherever in the world they wanted, right? They don't have to go on boats.
It's not that easy. It's not as easy as that anymore, you know, with electronic passports. I mean, I'm not an expert in that, but I can only quote people that I've met in Syria who said for sure there are terrorists among the refugees going to Europe, for sure.
Or on operation, like they...
No, not on a mission.
No, that's
not on a
my
mission.
Point. Right.
No. And they also said, like Farid Shahabi said, look, you have hundreds, probably thousands of homegrown terrorists in your own country who have been in Syria, cutting people's heads off, committing atrocities.
And they're allowed to come home.
Well, of course.
The Norwegian state doesn't take the passport away from them.
But what do you mean? Are we going to dump them in Syria and leave the problem to Syria? This is the big dilemma now. Like some ministers of foreign affairs in some European countries, because they had a big summit and they were discussing what the hell are we going to do with these people? Yeah. Some wanted to kill them, and there is a lot of killing going on where they say it's between the different groups. We don't know. There is a lot of killing going on. Some say, we'll tell them that if they come home, they will take their citizenship away from them, because I'm sure some of them receive benefits from their own country just to stay out of the country, like from Britain and this and that. So they don't know what to do. But I'll tell you one example. There's a woman who used to be in ISIS, and she's caught now. She's in the custody of Kurdish militias.
Great.
And there's a Norwegian politician who's in love with the Kurdish whole Kurdish thing.
Oh, I know. He's from the Greens, right?
No, he's in the Red Party, the before so-called Communist Party.
Okay.
But he's been into the Kurdish people for ages, and he's been to Syria 30 times, and he's gone into Syria illegally many, many times. But he talks about northern Syria and Assad's Syria. So he's a little bit, but that's not the point. The point is that she's now in custody of the Kurds.
Oh, okay.
This Norwegian politician brings home a handwritten letter from this woman begging to come home to Norway. And he's saying, it's just for a couple of Norwegian policemen to go to Iraq and take the boat over to Syria and bring her home. Like he's trying to make Norwegian police going legally into Syria to take with them an ISIS criminal. He's just fantasizing. But the point is, he should have given, if he was in contact with this criminal, he should have contacted the Syrian police. Because we have to understand that these people who are considered terrorists in our country, when they were in Syria, they were called rebels.
Oh.
That's the big difference, you see?
Mm.
Because Al-Nusra, all these Al-Qaeda bands, groups, all the crimes they committed in Syria, they were called rebels. Had they done in Europe, they would have been called terrorists. So it's,
of course.
Yeah. Well, was a long rant, but I think, yeah, probably a lot of them have money and passports, but according to Syrians, there are also some of them who are among the so-called refugees.
Yeah, I can believe that, but I think, yes, like you say, it's on the bottom level, and but it's interesting because it's almost as if the globalists then want to flood the countries with refugees.
Yeah.
And
it's an industry.
Make sure that there are some terrorists among them, because but my point is believing that, oh no, we won't take any of these refugees, that won't save you. So first off, America, I know you didn't want to take any refugees, and you almost didn't compared to many other countries, but as long as you're behind this goddamn war, you goddamn take them too. Because it should be a law, it should be a rule that if you start a war, like Norway did with Libya, then you're gonna take the bill too.
Yeah.
That's one. And two, refusing to take the refugees is also insane. First off, it's just a decency. When people run away from this shit, you're going to open your door for them. Or if not, then stop fucking up their countries. That's one. But the other is, if there's even terrorists among them, that's not a reason to stop. If there's one terrorist among 1,000 refugees, it doesn't help.
Anyway, it's impossible. It doesn't.
Yeah, but it doesn't help you stopping them, even if you hold out that one terrorist, because those terrorists can get to America anytime they want. 9/11, that people that started all this in as a meme at least, they had no problem. They were facilitated. Many of them were facilitated by intelligence, and we're going to get to that. But as long as we have no control over intelligence agencies, we can't stop terrorism either. It's that simple.
But, USA has taken in practically no refugees compared to the size of the country. Exactly. Germany has 1 million refugees. Yeah. But there's a big difference between a refugee and an immigrant.
Yeah.
So what happened when they destroyed Libya? Because Libya was like a cork in the bottle, So many West Africans went to Libya, they got work, they could feed their families at home, they could even bring their families.
And Gaddafi tried to get Africa over to a union, independent of the globalists and central bank that were loyal to them, not to the international banksters. He had so many plans. He wanted to go away from the dollar.
Yes. And you don't do that and not get punished. No. We've seen that with other countries as well. But the point is that Libya was the frontier. The immigration stopped there because they found work.
Yeah.
And they could stay on the continent. And he warned Europe. He said the sea will go black.
Yeah.
If you destroy us. And that's exactly what happened. But you have to understand that the migration, the mass migration, is a huge syndicate. It's an organized crime. It's not like poor people finding some sort of rubber boat. This is organized. Videos of Libyan coast guards whipping the people into the boat and pushing them out from the shore. It's a huge moneymaker. Human trafficking is one of the most lucrative businesses.
Right. Yeah, of course, I figure the poorest people, they end up in local camps, a refugee camp, because they don't have any means to get to Europe.
No, but these are not even people who will go to a refugee camp. I mean, this is mass migration. And lots of people who have come to Europe who claim to be Syrian, I mean, they don't even know what the capital of Syria is.
Yeah.
This is a huge business. Right. Of course, there are legitimate refugees, but most of the Syrians are displaced within their country, in Lebanon, in different countries around. And so you have to differentiate, because huge numbers who have come to Europe is organized. People have been enticed and encouraged to come. But, well, I'm not going to have an opinion on it, but there are a lot of elaborations on how this is a wanted destabilization of Europe. And you see the countries who refuse to take any immigrants or refugees, like Hungary. are being demonized in the EU, but they say, hey, we have no part in this war. Why should we pick up the pieces behind you?
Is it Viktor Orban? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I agree with him on that. And there was in America law that suggested, what is it called again? It was a suggestion for a law that says precisely what I just said, and that is that you have to take responsibility for the wars you're going to...
Yeah, but the biggest war crime is making war.
Yeah.